trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
And that's how you handle the trolls.
Great job.
That was some quick thinking.
Yeah, he was. That was right on his feet. The kid was like stunned, like, I got nothing.
Badass.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Tim Burchett, Senator Tim Burchett's becoming one of my favorites. Like he's just on point, and he's just got clip after clip of just good stuff that he says. He's doing good work.
Yeah. Well, on to some breaking news of the day, which I am not happy to even report or talk about, but Virginia Giuffre. So she was the main victim in the whole Epstein situation, and she had made a post on her Instagram, and I actually saw it like this morning.
That's right. Yeah,
as we're filming this morning.
Real?
And I couldn't really believe it. I was like, what? She got hit by a bus? So she's saying that she got hit by a bus. She's in critical condition, and the doctors are giving her only 4 days to live, which the whole situation sounds sketchy in my opinion.
It's got to be. Hit by a bus. I mean, I guess we'll get more details as it comes out. You just know that things are progressing faster and faster when people are starting to die, and attempts at people's lives are starting to be made.
And this woman has so much dirt on these people. She has so much information. She has names. She has video, picture. She has a lot of stuff. That's how Epstein actually got put away, was from her testimony and her proof, the pictures that she had,
That's right.
her stories. Prince
Andrew.
Bill Clinton. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are not happy with her. She's been living in Australia, which probably isn't the safest place for her.
Yeah.
And now she's saying that she only has a couple days to live. And as we put this out, that would mean tomorrow would be her last day if the doctors were right, which also makes me like a little sketched out about how doctors could even know, like, oh, from this injury, you're going to have this many days to live. Like, that doesn't usually happen that way. Very, very weird. But prayers out to her. Really, really hope that she can make it through, for herself and for everybody else, for all of the victims, for, justice being served in the Epstein situation.
Gosh, man. I know a lot of people are going to start saying, oh, well, this is looking shady for like Cash Patel and Bondi for not, acting on it sooner. It's kind of hard because even I did a poll on my Instagram. I was asking people, what did you vote for Trump? What were your priorities? Border, economy, and the wokeness and releasing of Epstein files. And only 1% of the people said that the main reason why they voted for him was for the Epstein files.
Right.
So it makes sense that Trump and the gang aren't prioritizing that number one. Plus,
it's not a huge demand, apparently.
You got to serve your constituency, and things need to happen first. You need to drain the swamp, kind of, take out the legs first before you go for the kill shot. But I see how this is going to probably come back from all the black-pilled people and the, people in the middle. Independents are going to be like, well, see, you guys, and they might even think that they're in on it too. So this isn't going to look good. It's not good. And it's obviously a very bad thing for her, and she doesn't deserve this. She's just gone through the worst.
I know.
So
she's had such
a
hard life. I can't even imagine. And this is no way for it to end. So pray that she makes it through and that this isn't the end for her. I know she has children and she wants to see her children. So yeah, just keep her in your prayers because this is a really rough situation for someone who's already been through so much.
Yeah, this is just awful, guys. So yeah, let's make sure that we keep pushing, guys. We can't get complacent. We can't be like, oh, Trump and the gang is just going to solve everything. We have to make sure that justice is served for her for all the victims and for everyone, which means we got to stay alive. We got to stay in the game. We can't just tune out and say, okay, it's all over. We won. No, this is the beginning. This is when work needs to be done. This is when feet need to be held to the fire. And this is where we got to push and keep sharing information, keep getting in the fight, and keep pushing the pressure for justice, guys.
Right, exactly.
So, also, and what I mean by that specifically, in this case, we have a judge. We've got races. Already in Pennsylvania, a Democrat won in Pennsylvania. And I think Florida.
Democrat won too.
So, Wisconsin, there is a big election coming up for a Supreme Court justice. What's her name? Susan Crawford. And she needs to be defeated in the race, guys. We cannot get complacent here. We got to share this with everyone, share this information out there, show people what we're up against. She is one of these, just like many of these corrupt judges, who protect people who hurt children. And just like Virginia Giuffre's, there's people being hurt, trafficked, all kinds of the worst things happening right now, and the justice is not getting done for them. We're going to show you a little clip of some of her judgment on the situation and why, and this should show you guys why it's so important to keep voting and keep the pressure on, keep sharing information so that we know what is really happening out there.
Right.
She let him live near us across the street from an elementary school. She didn't change any of that after he was convicted. And then at sentencing time, in spite of the pleas of the victim, she ultimately gave that offender a sentence that resulted in him being in prison for less than 2 years after that sentencing date. This is a dangerous flaw in my opponent's judgment, and that's just one example of many.
Think about that.
I'll stand by the cases. They have focused between him and Elon Musk. They have focused on 2 cases out of thousands that I've handled.
I'll stand by the cases.
A few moments later.
In 2020, you did sentence a child sex offender to 4 years in prison after prosecutors requested 10. Do you regret that sentence?
Yes. I don't regret that sentence because I followed the law in that case, as I always do. I applied the law, which says that judges have to consider every relevant factor in sentencing. You have to consider both the aggravating and mitigating factors. And the Supreme Court has said you have to order the minimum amount of prison time you believe is necessary to protect the public. That's what I did in that case and every other case. And my goal is always to keep the community safe.
The community safe by giving the minimum sentence for predators, for child predators?
Jeez.
Are you kidding me?
It just shows you how many people are in on all of this, whether they're actually committing acts like that or they're just getting paid out or whatever, they are complicit and they're involved and they're in on it and they know things and they're letting people get away with things.
I can't believe it.
Awful.
That's why we got to keep showing up. We've proved that voting works. So all the people that say my vote doesn't count, it's all rigged. Trump and the gang are in there, guys. Yep. Because voting does work. They wouldn't have cared so much about, well, I don't even know if I can say this, about, putting the fix here and there on things. I don't know if I can even say that, you know what I mean? If it was all a scam. It's not. Guys, vote. Get out there. Share information. Do what Scott Pressler's doing in your own area if you can, if you've got the ability. The opponent to Crawford is Brad Schimmel. Brad Schimmel, guys. That's who needs to win out there.
So let's push him forward.
Evil, yeah.
Yeah.
And also shout out to Savadi, or Sivady, who made that little video. We appreciate people like that putting these things together and making the public aware. Appreciate the work on that one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny how she's like, oh, and Elon, whatever. Like, speaking of Elon, like, he's been exposing so much corruption and so much fraud in our government. It's not even funny. And he just is going hard and is not stopping. Every day it seems to be something new, and they can't handle it because it's just so much coming at once. And I absolutely love it. So here is one of the latest things that Elon has exposed.
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually. For example, like the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, it cost you about $10,000, the government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey, do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was like insane.
Oh my goodness. Let me ask you guys, do any of you have a casual $1 billion laying around?
Oh, yeah, casual. Not a
Just casual billion. This is insanity.
Yeah, apparently, it's just been going on so casually that the government hasn't even flinched at this. It's just gotten progressive alerts. Oh, $1 billion, no big deal.
Yeah, well, when you're speaking in terms of trillions, $1 billion doesn't seem like that much in their eyes.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Somebody had gone out there. This leftist was like, "Did you know that the illegals are paying $96 billion in taxes?" And then it's like you do the math, and it's like, but that's just 1%. That's not even 1% of the total that is collected here. That's nothing. Who cares if they're paying one tiny percent of it? That's not enough to justify people being here draining hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's just crazy because people are outraged about him exposing this stuff. And we were just talking about this the other night. And it's pretty much like Plato's allegory of the cave. These people can't handle the light being shined so brightly and so quickly because they've been living in the dark for so long. So they act out. They act like maniacs. They go insane. They start causing havoc and destruction everywhere. And that is exactly what we're seeing with all of these Tesla protests going on and vandalism of even just people's personal vehicles. I know we talked a little bit about this before, but it's gotten worse.
Still going, still snowballing.
Yeah.
It's, it's if you hadn't thought about this before, it's, share that idea with somebody. It's if you've been living in the dark, if you're in a dark room, right, and someone turns on the light,
you're like, ugh.
Oh, what's your instant, turn that off.
And then you start acting a little crabby, turn it off.
Oh, gosh, it's offending me. It's hurting my eyes because it's so shocking.
I will slap you if you don't turn it off.
Yeah, right. They turn that off. If you're waking up, right, you're waking someone up in the morning.
Yeah.
They're going to resist it.
And if they don't want to wake up and they want to stay in their dark, cozy bed and room, then they're not going to be so happy when you try to forcefully wake them up.
In the cozy darkness, as the gospel tells us, that it's our love for the darkness that has really put us in this situation that we're at.
Exactly.
And
so there's a lot of people that have love for the darkness, unfortunately, and they're out there in the streets. And we'll just show you a clip of what they're doing.
Yeah, I was going to say just really quick, if people on Elon's team are former, hackers, people who had been in the dark. I mean, even what Elon was doing, the dark MAGA thing, people who have been on the shady side of things, so they know what's going on. They've been in, and I'll be honest, I don't necessarily trust Elon Musk. He doesn't proclaim Jesus as Lord, but that doesn't mean that I have to disagree with what he's doing. I think he's doing a good job now. There's a potential that he could stab us in the back and go the wrong way. All human beings could go dark. So we got to keep that in mind. And yeah, we do got to keep everybody in check. So.
And whether he is good or bad, there's no reason for people to be destroying vehicles and people's property and causing the issues that they're causing right now.
A woman in Flagstaff today was just, today or yesterday, recently, was just beat up in the middle of traffic in Flagstaff, Arizona.
For having a Tesla.
For having a Tesla, a 60-year-old woman.
So whether Elon's good or bad, that should not be happening. And that is what we're seeing happen because of people's hate for this man. So
let's
here,
see some more
let's
of this
play
madness.
Play the clip.
These people are are making the salute. They're waving they're making the symbols on.
They're drawing these symbols everywhere. If anyone's keeping that era alive, it's the people that are drawing the symbols.
Right. And the people who are doing that, we used to have a name for them. And
we can't say it on YouTube.
Yeah, right. That's right. Oh man. Yeah. Like who's the fascist here?
Exactly.
Fascist,
Well, these people that are actually vandalizing and hurting people are not going to be getting away with it for very much longer. And some of them aren't, getting away with it now because listen to what Pam Bondi has to say with a situation that just happened with some of the Tesla stuff.
Pam Bondi.
I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars. Today, I'm proud to announce that the Department of Justice has unsealed federal charges against another Tesla attacker. We've charged Cooper Frederick in the firebombing of a Tesla dealership that occurred on March 7th in Loveland, Colorado. All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide. Justice is coming.
There you go.
MAGA never set anything on fire.
Right.
There's no fire bombs, no fire bombing, and it's just interesting because it's like they're talking about, there's all this vehement protest from the left about stuff, but it's like how come not even 1 ounce of energy that we saw of that protest, that might have been a protest, but the firebombing and stuff like that, how come we didn't see 1 ounce of that energy towards China? China has put more people out of business in this country, has gotten more people to lose their job than anyone.
True.
China, especially if you're a leftist, like that's why you had the Tesla car in the first place. They're the biggest polluters in the world. And they're they're some of the biggest human rights violators in the world.
Exactly.
Against women. Talking about, the government owns your ovaries or whatever. China won't let
You're not
women
allowed to have
more than one baby.
Yeah.
They use slave labor. They exploit people. They do all the worst. And not one of these leftists has put any kind of energy against China, even bringing awareness towards that. And I'm just saying, fair is fair.
Right.
If that's the reason why.
Or automation, robots taking over everything.
All the automation.
What about all the cashiers that have lost their jobs? We just went to a restaurant the other day where nobody takes your order. You just have to do the screen. There's jobs being lost all over the place, and nobody is in arms about that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if that's what you're complaining about, if that's what you're mad about, then why not apply it across the board?
Right.
So,
and I love how they're chanting that Elon's got to go. Where is he going to go? Back to Africa? Because in that case, you sound a little racist.
Yeah, you Africans, you go back to Africa. Wait, hold on. As you guys are making those
It's
symbols,
all of their ideologies just start crumbling in on themselves.
Any sense, I know.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for today.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Speak Truth America.
Yes.
And I am Des.
And I'm Serene.
It's a show where we are pro-God,
pro-freedom, and pro-truth. We're just a couple of hippie patriots bringing you what the TV can't televise.
That's right. We got producer Brian back there making it all happen.
Thank you, Brian.
Kicking butt. Yeah. This was episode 19, guys.
Yeah, so if you liked
liked
today's episode, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. And remember that it is up to us to create a better, more truthful world together. So always seek the truth and always speak the truth, even if your voice shakes.
That's right. And remember to stay powered up in the armor of God, you guys, because it's only through him we can do all things.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
All right. See you next time.
All right.